The sirens came first, a piercing wail that cut across the quiet night. Echoing from Tel Aviv to Haifa, from Ashkelon to the depths of the Negev desert, at first, many thought it was just another drill. The kind of routine tension that becomes background noise when you live in a country accustomed to living on the edge. But then, the sky lit up. Trails of fire. Iron Dome interceptors clawing into the darkness. A moment later, thunder cracked overhead as warheads collided midair. Windows rattled. Car alarms wailed. And families huddled in shelters, their phones buzzing with emergency alerts. Israel was under attack. Not from the usual rocket fire, but from a coordinated storm, unlike anything the world had ever seen. Welcome to the digital sleuth. For years, the military elite insisted this nation was shielded by the most advanced layered defense system in history. Iron Dome for short range, David's Sling for the mid-range, and the Arrow system for ballistic threats. Each was touted as the pinnacle of modern warfare, precise and nearly invincible. But on June 13, 2025, that shield was put to the ultimate test. Today, we are opening the declassified files on a conflict that blurred the lines between physical kinetic war and a high-stakes cybercrime documentary. We are looking at how a perfect system was stretched to the breaking point, and exactly what happens when the digital and physical worlds collide in total chaos. To understand what happened, we have to look at the mechanics of the assault. Hours after a covert Israeli operation deep inside Iranian territory, Tehran executed a response with chilling precision. This wasn't just a blind lashing out. It was a calculated overload. Independent observers described it as a storm of steel. The first wave consisted of hundreds of projectiles. Shahed drones flying low, cruise missiles weaving through terrain, and ballistic missiles arcing high into the atmosphere. For radar operators, the scope was overwhelming. Within minutes, screens were cluttered with hundreds of incoming objects. In the world of cybersecurity, we call this a DDoS attack, a distributed denial of service. But instead of flooding a server with fake traffic, Iran flooded the physical airspace with a mix of lethal warheads and clever decoys meant to confuse the radar's logic. This is where the tech gets intense. Each Iron Dome interceptor costs tens of thousands of dollars. The Iranian drones, they cost a fraction of that. It is the ultimate dark web economic strategy. Use low-cost, disposable assets to bankrupt and overwhelm a high-cost defense system by forcing the defense network to decide in milliseconds what was a threat and what was a decoy. Iran was essentially trying to crash the system's decision-making algorithm. While the missiles were flying, a second battle was being waged in the palm of every citizen's hand. This is the part of the story that reads like a true cybercrime documentary. As families sat in bomb shelters, their phones became targets. We saw a surge in major phishing attacks and social engineering. Fake emergency alerts were sent to thousands of devices, claiming that the power grid was failing or that water supplies were contaminated. This was digital psychological warfare, designed to create a human denial of service, clogging emergency phone lines and sparking mass panic that hindered the actual military response. Behind the scenes, the shadow war was in full swing. Reports suggest that during this period, sophisticated internet mysteries unfolded as hacktivist groups allegedly linked to both sides targeted critical infrastructure. We saw evidence of dark web scams where hackers tried to sell safe passage or early warning apps, that were actually malware designed to steal financial data from terrified civilians. On June 18th, the strategy shifted from shock and awe to a grinding war of attrition. Iran began staggering their waves every 20 minutes for 6 hours straight. They weren't trying to hit everything at once anymore. They were probing for cracks. One drone struck a communication tower in Beersheba. Another hit an electrical substation in Ashdod. The message was clear. No matter how good your firewall is, if the attacker keeps hitting the same port long enough, eventually, something slips through. By the middle of the week, the psychological and economic toll reached a tipping point. On June 19th, Iran introduced something even more sophisticated: hypersonic-capable missiles. These weapons move at such high speeds that they challenge the very cybersecurity protocols that govern automated defense systems. In Haifa, the shockwave from a mid-air interception shattered glass across entire neighborhoods. In the south, a ballistic missile landed near sensitive installations, proving that the Invincible shield had limits. This is a classic case of security through obscurity failing. Israel relied on the reputation of its tech to deter attacks, but Iran spent years studying the signatures, the flight paths, and the response times of the Iron Dome. They treated the defense network like a piece of software they were trying to crack. By June 22nd, the decisive wave arrived. Over 500 projectiles launched in a single 24-hour window. The math became brutal. Military sources privately admitted that interceptor stocks were running dangerously low. Hospitals weren't just filling up with people wounded by shrapnel. They were overwhelmed by thousands suffering from acute stress and panic attacks. The user interface of daily life had been completely disrupted. By June 27th, the skies finally grew quiet. But the landscape of modern warfare had changed forever. This wasn't just a military engagement. It was a glimpse into the future of digital and physical convergence. As your digital sleuth, I look at this and see a massive lesson in infrastructure resilience. Whether it is a nation's air defense or your own personal network, the vulnerabilities are often the same. First, redundancy. Never rely on a single shield. Just as Israel uses layered defense, you should use multi-factor authentication and off-site backups. Second, resource management. In a DDoS or an attrition attack, the goal is to make you waste your resources. Be wary of where you spend your digital energy. Don't chase every decoy or click every suspicious link. Third, the human factor. The most advanced tech in the world can be bypassed by panicking the people using it. Stay calm. Verify your sources. And don't let social engineering dictate your actions during a crisis. The events of June 2025 prove that no system is untouchable. The aura of invulnerability didn't just shatter because of missiles. It shattered because the attacker understood the tech better than the defender expected. If you found this declassified breakdown valuable, make sure to subscribe. We dive into these digital mysteries every day to help you stay one step ahead of the shadows. I am the Digital Sleuth. Stay vigilant. Stay secure. See you in the next file.